Hello everyone! What if I told you that you can make your Dualsense PS5 controller have full mechanical buttons just like a Nintendo Switch Joy-Con? In today's video, we're gonna learn how to do that with the Clicky Triggers and Buttons kit from Extremerate. These are two different kits, and in order to get the controller fully modded, you need to buy both of them. This kit is for the triggers, and here you can see the mechanical switches that will go under the triggers and shoulder buttons. This other kit is for the face buttons and Dpad. To begin, we'll have to disassemble the Dualsense. This is a very lengthy process and I would show it in detail on this review, but it would make the video too long. So I'm gonna leave the link to a teardown video in the description and you can use it as a guide to disassemble your controller. When you get to this point, you're ready to do the first modification. First, we'll need to change the rubber membranes from the D-pad and face buttons with the ones provided in the kit. For the face buttons, you should just stick these small rubber pads in the buttons. Then you need to remove this flex PCB with the contact pads. This mod is totally reversible, so try not to damage it. Now install the new PCB with the clicky button switches. Don't forget to fold the contact pads on the other side. And it should look like this. And we're done for the face buttons and D-pad. But we are going to mod the triggers too, so for that we'll have to disassemble the triggers. Start by desoldering the motors from the adaptive triggers. Then isolate the terminals with some Kapton tape and you can hide the wires under the board. Next, remove this tiny connector from the triggers. Then unscrew the screw under it and these three others from the other side. Then remove this plastic cover. Remove the trigger button. And remove this flex PCB with the rubber pads. Now check your controller board to see the model number. This is a BDM010. So we're gonna use the 010 parts that came with the kit. The mods for the triggers are permanent and cannot be reversed, because you have to cut a tiny piece of the buttons. If you really want to reverse it, you'll have to buy new buttons online. After cutting, you just need to insert the plastic piece that you detached before. The kit also comes with new plastic covers, so we're gonna use those instead of the originals. They're slightly different. Attach the switches to the cover as shown here. And insert the other switch in the place where you removed the rubber membranes. Now insert the triggers, and this part can be a bit tricky. As you can see here, the plastic piece keeps falling off. You can glue them with super glue if you want. With the triggers in place, it should look like this. And don't forget to insert the metal pivot from the cover you removed before. Now close the cover, and you can already test the button to see if it's working. Now reinsert all of the screws. And reattach the new connector. And you can fold the rest of the cable like this. And we finish the mod. All you have to do is repeat the same process on the other trigger. All that's left to do is put the triggers back in place and reassemble the controller. And this is the final result. And as expected, with this mod you won't have the adaptive triggers, and the triggers will be digital. So I suggest doing this in a secondary controller. The face buttons feels very good, and the D-pad is also very nice. The diagonals are just as precise as on an unmodded controller. The triggers though may feel a bit harder to press. This is something that can get better with time as you use the controller more. And here's my final thoughts. The face buttons and D-pad mod is super easy to do and I definitely recommend it. However, the trigger mod is a bit more complicated, and it requires disassembling the entire adaptive triggers of the Dualsense controller. Not to mention that you'll have to permanently cut a piece of the trigger button. Instead of sending the pieces to modify the buttons, this mod should come with the buttons already made in the correct shape. This way it would not only make the mod easier to install, but as well make it reversible in case the player wants to change it back. I'll leave all the links of these mods in the description of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.